Good morning. We're back on the Vortic truck, the 49 Ford F5. It has been a pretty good stretch of time since I took the gas tank in. More than likely on this video it's going to all bump together, but there has been some time in between. So we are back at it, and the plan for this morning is we're going to get a new gasket cut for the sender. I got some parts in that I've been waiting on, so I think we have most of what we need to get the gas tank set in and start reassembling this, and with a goal of getting the fuel system up and running and working on its own tank and fuel system. So let's get started. So as we put this tank back together, here are some of the things that we've done in the meantime. We cleaned up all the hardware for putting the sender back in. The sender was deplorable, but these senders are almost impossible to find. So I soaked it in Evaporust for about 30 days, and it really cleaned it up nicely. I didn't want to get too aggressive with it because I was afraid that I would damage some piece of it, so I was super gentle on how I cleaned it. So the Evaporust really did a nice job. So this piece, it looks fantastic. The ohm reading is a little sporadic, but I'm hopeful that it's going to be fine in the truck, that it'll work well enough to give a fuel reading. So that's the fuel sender. The float has probably been bad for a couple generations, so I'm guessing the gas gauge hasn't worked in this thing like for my lifetime. So this will get replaced with a new one. So we'll throw the old one away. We'll work to get the new one out, which is hermetically sealed. So I'll get a sharp device, puncture the bag. We'll put the new brass, can't really even see it, the new brass float. Can you see it kind of? Crap. Hold that thought, I'm gonna cut it open. All right, there's the brass float, manufactured to look just like the original. So we'll put that on there. And we're gonna make a new gasket. So I have cork. We'll cut out a new gasket. And I realized too late that the gas tanks for these F5s are not the same as the gas tank for an F100. The fuel filler is bigger on the F5. So I'll have to figure out what I'm going to do for a new fuel filler hose, because the old fuel filler hose was pretty old, but we'll get to that. So let me cut a gasket and we'll get this thing ready to slide back in. Okay, so here is the fuel sender with the new brass float on it. Pretty basic stuff. And here is the new gasket that I made. I basically have some gasket stock, and I cut out the perimeter, then cut a 2-inch hole in the inside, clamped it into the sender itself, and used probably a 1940s leather punch to punch the holes into the gasket here. And it kind of looks like a pair of pliers, and it just, and that's it. So that's that piece. Now we'll put some screws in it and assemble it into the tank. Okay, so I dropped the sender in. It only goes in one way. The gasket's very specific to the bolt pattern on the tank. And now we'll just spin these in. And I just go across, crisscross, across the center. It's not that big a deal when you're using a gasket that's been used before. Like you've pulled the sender out and the gasket's still good. It usually will tighten up really fast and you can call this done. But on a new gasket, you really do have to slowly pull it down as it compresses that cork. And I don't use a ratchet or any kind of power tool on it because it's such a pain if you break one of these bolts. Next step, clean out a bunch of years of collected truck stuff. Let's see that. So we pulled some Christmas tree stuff out of there that's been there for probably a couple decades. This tree was used on their Christmas tree lot, so that's kind of a natural. I'm going to pull the seat out eventually, but right now I'm just trying to get the area clean where the tank's going to go. Quite the mess under there. So what we did was we cleaned out all the area where the tank's going to go and got all the dirt and leaves and things that were going to cause a potential problem down the road for this truck. Got those out of there so there won't be any accumulation of that to rust out some body panels. Okay, we're off to the next part, and that is sliding the tank in. There you have it. The gas tank is slid into space. Now I will put some hardware in it, get it all bolted down, and then I'll bring you back to kind of show you what the finished piece looks like. So let me get after some hardware. Let's take a look at the tank all installed now. So the tank's in, all bolted together, all the hardware's been cleaned, installed. This is not a restoration project, this is a preservation project, so we're not repainting everything, we're not making everything look brand new. We want it to be a nice, tidy shape. We want it to work well. The tank is all clean inside. We had to paint the tank because of the hot tank process. So it's all clean inside. It should give us miles and miles of trouble-free fun. All the hardware is clean. The area is clean underneath. The factory friction mechanical jack is back in its spot with its little thumb bolt. What a cool piece. I didn't do much to it. I just oiled it up so that it would last another 75 years. I'm sure it would work just fine. It uses a big gigantic lever arm piece of steel, and I'm pretty sure it was under the seat, so we'll add it back into it. We'll also put the container back over the top, which is to kind of hold accessories and things of that nature. And so it's a piece that I just realized I hadn't slid back in there, so I'll get that back in there. The neck's back in it, all hardware's clean, kept it back on it. And here's a really interesting piece. The truck definitely looks pretty forlorn and unloved, but look at what that paint's going to come back to with just a little bit of work. So I just used a mild cleaner on it and some elbow grease, and look at that. That paint's starting to come back to a really cool luster. No, it does not look like it rolled off the showroom floor. It looks like it's been around the block and is well loved, and that's exactly what we want. So we're going to go for that look around the whole truck, and I'm excited. So I'm going to bring this segment to a close. We still have more to do on the fuel system, but the tank component is done, And the next video will be mounting the fuel pumps and regulators and things of that nature, and hopefully getting it started. I'm Clay for Chop Shop Motors, and we'll see you on the next project.